Hey, and welcome to the 145th edition of Quotes, Quibble and Question, your weekly leadership development fix from me, Matt the Coaching Guy. This week I explore cause and effect in your leadership. And one of the biggest differences between exceptional leaders and those who constantly feel overwhelmed has little to do with experience, intelligence, or technical ability. It comes down to your mindset. Specifically, whether you spend most of your time at cause or at effect. If you've never come across these terms before, here's a simple way to think about them. A leader at effect believes that circumstances, other people, the market, the economy, or the organisation determines their results. They spend their energy reacting, blaming, waiting, and hoping for things to improve. A leader at cause recognises that whilst they can't control everything that happens around them, they can always choose how they respond. They focus on influence rather than excuses, ownership rather than blame, and action rather than frustration. And this isn't about pretending that life is easy or ignoring genuine challenges. This is about recognising that the greatest source of power lies in your response, not your circumstance. And as you can imagine, this isn't just useful at work, it's also about life. The question isn't whether difficult things happen to leaders, they do. The question is this: are you allowing your circumstances to define your leadership, or are you choosing the leader you want to be regardless of your circumstances? And every day you spend at effect is a day someone else writes your story. Every day you choose to operate at cause, you take back the pen. So here's your quotes for this week. Between stimulus and response, there is space. In this space is our power to choose our response. Viktor Frankl. The price of greatness is responsibility. Winston Churchill. The greatest discovery in my generation is that human beings can alter their life by altering his attitude. William James. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control your attitude towards what happens to you. Brian Tracy. And so here's your quibble for this week. And one of the biggest bubbles leaders fall into believing is once my team changes, I'll be able to lead better. And it sounds logical. If people communicated better, if only there were more resources, if only senior leadership made quicker decisions, only the market settles down, before long leadership becomes conditional. The reality is that the best leaders don't wait for perfect conditions. They create progress despite imperfect conditions. Leadership isn't tested when everything's going well. Leadership is revealed when it isn't. So how do you spot if your leadership is at effect? Ask yourself how often you hear yourself saying these things. There's nothing I can do. It's because of them. I'll wait until things improve. I don't have enough time. Nobody listens anyway, and this organisation won't change. These statements aren't facts. They're excuses and clues. They suggest your attention has shifted from what you can influence to what you can't. Leadership at cause asks different questions. What can I influence today? What conversations have I been avoiding? What ownership do I need to take? What behaviours do I need to model first? And where am I waiting for permission? That shift is questioning changes everything. So here's some simple ways to move from effect to cause. Notice your language and replace it with ownership. Focus on your circle of influence instead of your circle of concern. Ask yourself, what is the one action I can take today? Stop waiting for motivation. Action creates momentum. Accept that leadership isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about taking responsibility for your behaviour, decisions and responses. And finally, remember that your team will often mirror the mindset you constantly demonstrate. Every small decision to take ownership strengthens your leadership operating system. Eventually it becomes who you are. So here's your question for this week. Where in your leadership have you been waiting for circumstances to change when the real opportunity for you is for you to change first? So thanks for listening to this week's newsletter. If you have any other subjects you'd like to hear more about, do drop me an email at matt@thecoachingguy.co.uk. And I think it's fair to say that we all want more time, more energy, and greater impact in our lives, whether that's personally or professionally. But given the experience I've had, I can tell you one thing. There is enough time and energy, but most use them for things that don't align with their priorities. Therefore, the impact you have is never realised. If you're interested in finding out how I can support you on your journey, email me or drop me a DM. So have a great week. Bye for now.